Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the revision class for quantitative aptitude. So, slot one already we did from 9 to 11:30, and then we're going to do another session now. So, probably before the break, in the last session, I discussed the concept of permutation combination. I discussed the concept of probability. I discussed the concept of area and volume. Make sure you watch the recorded video in case if you have any doubt to understand what all we have done. You want to revise that, Purita madam will forward you the video. You can watch the video from there to understand what all we have done. If probably for those people who are doing first time, for them it would be little bit difficult, or maybe they found it little bit going very fast, but it is a need of time. We do to do that. See, understand, when you're preparing for quantitative aptitude, you need to understand that the majority of questions will come from the concepts or arithmetic. And when we talk about arithmetic includes the topic like percentage, profit and loss, simple interest, compound interest, time and work, time, speed and distance. Okay, so majority of questions will come from that. So in order to solve all these questions, you should be very good with the conversion of fraction into percentage, because in exam whenever you get any question, you need to convert that data into fraction. If you could able to convert that data into fraction, probably you can do it very fast. So, like if I talk about the conversion of fraction to percentages, if I talk about the conversion of fraction to percentages, so probably I want you to revise this. So 1 by 2, if I convert in percentage, that will become 50%. You have to by heart these values. 1 by 2 in percentage will become 50%. 1 by 3, if you convert in percentage, it will become 33.33 percentage, 33.33%, or you can say it is 33 1 by 3%. Okay, 1 by 4, if you convert it to percentage, 1 by 4, if you convert it to percentage, it will become 25%. 1 by 5, if you convert it to percentage, it will become 20%. 1 by 6, if you convert it to percentage, it will become 16.67%. The other way of writing 16.67 is 62 by 3 percentage. 1 by 7, if you convert into percentage, it will become 14.29%. You have to buy out these values. 1 by 8, if you convert into percentage, it will become 12.5%. 12.5 you can remember as 12. 1 by 2%. Then 1 by 9, if you convert into percentage, it will become 11.11%. 1 by 11, if you convert into percentage, it will become 9.09%. So you have to remember these values. In exam, when you are solving the problem, this all will helpful for you. 1 by 12, when you convert into percentage, it will become 8.33%. 8.33 you can write as 8 1 by 3%. 1 by 13, if you convert into percentage, it will become 7.69%. 1 by 14, when you convert into percentage, it is half of 1 by 7, it becomes 7.14. 1 by 15, when you convert into percentage, it will become 6.67%. 6.67 means 62 by 3%. 1 by 16, if you convert into percentage, it will become 6.25%. 6.25% means 6 1 by 4%. You have to by heart these values. If you want to clear the exam, you have to make sure that you have to remember these values. These are very important for you to clear the exam. Okay, so Indian education system rely a lot on your memory ability. So like the way you remember tables, like the same way you have to remember this 1 by 17. If you convert into percentage, it becomes 5.8823%. 1 by 18, if you convert into percentage, it will become 5.55 percentage. 1 by 19, if you convert into percentage, it will become 5.263%. Try to memorize these values. It will be helpful for you for the exam preparation. Okay. So you know that 1 by 2, you know that 1 by 3, is 33.33%. You know that 1 by 3 is 33.33%. So 2 by 3 in percentage will be 66.67%. Okay, remember that. Now 1 by 6 in percentage is 16.67%. Okay, so similarly, if I say 5 by 6, 5 by 6 means 1 minus 1 by 6. So that will become 100 minus 16.67. It will be 83.33%. You have to remember them. Then if I say 1 by 8, 1 by 8 is 12.5%. 3 by 8, if I ask you, 3 by 8 means 4 by 8 minus 1 by 8. So that is 50 minus 12.5. That become 37.5%. So you have to remember these values. 3 by 8 means 37.5%. Then if you see 5 by 8, 5 by 8 means 4 by 8 plus 1 by 8. So then if you convert it, you will get 62.5%. 7 by 8, 7 by 8 means 1 minus 1 by 8. That will become 87.5%. So you should know these values. You have to make sure that you never forget this value. So you have to by heart them. So there's no other way. There's no other way. If you know them, then probably solving questions will be very easy for you. Solving questions would be very easy. Like if you see something called 41.67%, so if you see something called 41.67%, so you need to understand 41.67 means 50 minus 8.33%. 50 in fraction become 1 by 2. 8.33 in fraction become 1 by 12. So if you do LCM and you solve, you will get 5 by 12. Okay, so this is what I want from you. If you see 53.33%, 53.33 means 50 plus 3.33. 50 plus 3.33, 50 means 1 by 2. 3.33 means 10%. 3.33 is the 10% of 33.33. 3.33 is the 10% of 33.33. So 10% is 1 by 10. 33.33 means 1 by 3. So 53.33 means 1 by 2 plus 1 by 30. If you solve this, you will get 8 by 15. So if you solve this, you will get 8 by 15. You get 16 by 30. So you will get 8 by 15. So this ultimately in exam, the purpose of telling you all this thing, that in exam, whenever you see a question in the exam, you should be in position to convert them in the form of fraction. If you can convert them in the form of fraction, then you can get the answer very easily. That is my intention of telling you to memorize these values. Suppose if I show you a question, like if I ask you a question that in a 400 kg mixture, in a 400 kg mixture of wheat and barley, in a 400 kg mixture of wheat and barley, in a 400 kg mixture of wheat and barley, the percentage of wheat present, the percentage of wheat present is 60%. Percentage of wheat present is 60%. Okay, this is the question. So then question is that what quantity of barley, so what quantity of barley, what quantity of barley can be added in the mixture, can be added in the mixture, what quantity of barley, what quantity of barley can be added in the mixture, what quantity of barley can be added in the mixture, so that the percentage of wheat become, so that the percentage of wheat in mixture, percentage of wheat in the mixture becomes, so that the percentage of wheat in the mixture become 53.33%. This is the question. Okay, if I'm asking you this question, anyone can tell me the answer for this question? Anyone want to try to tell me the answer for this question? Everyone try, tell me the answer for this question. Now see this, how to solve this. Now you see there it is a 400 kg, 400 kg, okay, where the percentage of wheat, where the percentage of wheat is 60%. If wheat is 60%, then barley is 40%. Wheat is 60%, wheat is 60%, so the barley is 40%. So 60%. So everyone, I think you know how to find the 60% of 400. So 60% of 400 means wheat is 240 kg. So wheat is 240 kg. So 40% of 400, you know that the barley is 160 kg. Okay. So I hope you could able to do this part. I don't think anyone have any doubt on doing this. Now, if suppose here the wheat here is 240 kg and the barley here is 160 kg and the total mixture is 400 kg. Okay, so question is that what quantity of barley can be added in the mixture? What quantity of barley can you add in the mixture? So what quantity of barley can you add in the mixture? Let x kg of barley is added into the mixture. Let x kg of barley is added in the mixture. Suppose let you add x kg of barley into the mixture. So imagine if when you add x kg of barley in the mixture, then what will happen? Then if you add x kg of barley into the mixture, now the quantity of barley will become 160 plus x. White wheat, no change in wheat. Wheat will remain as 240 and the total quantity will become 400 plus x. Okay, and the total quantity would become 400 plus x. Now, what quantity of barley is added in the mixture so that the percentage of wheat become 53.33? If the percentage of wheat become 53.33 means percentage of barley would have become 46.67. Now you understand this. Now many people, what they will do, many people will solve this question. Many people will solve this question. How they will solve this question? They'll write, okay, 160 plus x divide by 240. They will say they are in ratio 46.67 divide by 53.33. Now imagine if you try to solve like this, means you're gone. Means how much time will you waste? Because calculation will become very complicated. I told you that whenever you see 53.33, I told you whenever you see 53.33, whenever you see 53.33, I told you you need to understand that is equal to 50 plus 3.33. 3.33 is 1/10 of 33.33. 33.33 is 1 by 3. So 3.33 would be 1 by 30. 50% is 1 by 2. If you convert, you will get 8 by 15. So if 53.33 is 8 by 15, so 46.67 same way will be 7 by 15. So this is what I expect from you. So if you see this, so now when you see 46.67, this is 7 by 15. When you see 53.33, this is 8 by 15. So you can write 160 plus x divide by 240 is equal to 7 by 8. Okay, so now if you solve this, it become 160 plus x is equal to 210. X is equal to 50 kg. This is the quantity of barley you should add in the mixture. So if you add a 50 kg of barley in the mixture, then the wheat percentage from 60% will become 53.33%, while barley, which was earlier 40%, now it will become 46.67%. Okay, so that's the way. This is the reason why I tell you you should remember these values. More you remember these values, more faster you can solve the question. That is the intention of telling you these values. Anyone have any doubt? Any question? Anyone? Any question, anyone? Any question, anyone? So basically, percentage, whenever we calculate percentage, here you can understand in percentage, like Ram's salary was 630, from 630 it becomes 700. So what is a percentage increase in salary? So whenever you calculate percentage, it is like final value minus base value divide by base value into 100. This will tell you the percentage. Percentage. So when you say percent, that is per 100. Per 100. So 630 becomes 700. So suppose P1 become P2. So what is the percentage change? So the percentage change is P2 minus P1 divide by P1 into 100. This is 70 divided by 630 into 100. Okay, so this is 11.11%, because you understand, no? 70 by 630 is 1 by 9. So 1 by 9 of 100. 1 by 9 of 100 means 11.11%. I hope you are understanding this. Anyone want to ask any question? If you remember the values, if you remember the values, your calculation will become very easy. More values you remember, more faster you can do the calculation. That is the objective. Okay, so that is the objective. Whenever we see the question, how fast we can do, so we can do it like this way, and thereby when we solve, we can solve them much more faster. Any doubt, anyone? Anyone, any doubt? Now if you see this question, the two numbers are respectively 20% and 50% more than the third. Then what percentage is the first of the second? So two numbers are respectively 20% and 50% more than the third. So what percentage is first of the second? So you can write, let the third number is 100. So if the third number is 100, so your first number would be is it is 20% of third. 20 two numbers is 20%. Two numbers with 20% and 50% more than third. 20% of 100 means 20. So the first number is 120 and it is 20% more than third. So the third number I assume 100. So 20% more than the third means first number is 120, and then if you see second number it is 50% more than third. So the third number, so the second number is 50% more than third. So the second number become 150. Then what percentage is first of second? So they're asking you, first number is what percentage of second number? So first number is what percentage of the second number? So whenever we calculate percentage in percentage, whenever we are working on percentages, whenever we are working on percentages, what we talk about what we compare. In percentages, we talk about what we compare, by whom we compare, what we compare, by whom we compare in 200. So when we talk about percentage, we talk about what we compare, by whom we compare in 200. So what we are comparing, so we are comparing first number is what value of the second number. So the first number is 120, okay, and second number is 150 into 100. So this become 80%. So I hope you are understanding this. Any doubt, anyone? Anyone want to ask any question? Anyone want to ask any question? If you see this question, express 1 by 4 express 1 by 4, express 1 by 4 as the percentage of 25 by 9. Express 1 by 4 as the percentage of 25 by 9. Express 1 by 4 as the percentage of 25 by 9. So they want 1 by 4 is what percentage of 25 by 9. So means 1 by 4 into 25, 25 by 9 into 100. So you will get the answer as 9%. This and this will get cancelled. So you can understand. So a number 0.05 is what percent of 20. So the number 0.05 is what percent of 20. 0.05 is what percentage of 20. So 0.05 divide by 20 into 100. So if you do that, you will get 0.25. The questions are not difficult. You can solve them very easily. Whenever you see percentage problem, you can solve them very easily. Okay. Now, if you see the question paper also, if you see the question paper also, you see this question number 93. You question number, if you see in question paper also, you can see this question number 93. Question number 93, if you see question number 93. You can see this question number 93. So you can see this question. So here you can see that the Naresh monthly income is 30 more than Raghu. You can see in this problem, Naresh monthly income is 30% more than Raghu. The Raghu monthly income is 20% less than Vishal. The Raghu monthly income is 20% less than Vishal. If the difference between monthly income of Naresh and Vishal is 800 rupees, what is the monthly income of Raghu? So Naresh monthly income is 30% more than Raghu. Raghu monthly income is 20% less than Vishal. So let's start with Vishal. Let the monthly income of Vishal. Let the monthly income of Vishal. Let the monthly income of Vishal is suppose A. Let the monthly income of Vishal is A. So Raghu monthly income is 20% less than Vishal. So monthly income of Raghu. Of Raghu. So monthly income of Raghu. So Raghu monthly income is 20% less than Vishal. So 20% less. Let the Vishal monthly income is A. So monthly income of Raghu will be 0.8A. So the monthly income of Raghu would be 0.8A. Then Naresh monthly income is 30% more than Raghu. So the Raghu monthly income is there. So the now the Naresh monthly income will be. So now the Naresh monthly income will be how much? 30% more than Raghu. So the monthly income of Raghu on that 30% more. Naresh monthly income is 30% more than Raghu. 30% more means 1.3. 30% less means 0.7. 30% 30% more means 1.3. 40% more is 1.4. 65% more means 1.65. 65% less means 0.35. I hope you are understanding. Now the Naresh monthly income is 30% more. So the Naresh monthly income is 30% more. So you can write 1.3 into so you can write this as 1.04A. So the Naresh monthly income is 1.04A. Raghu monthly income is 0.8A. Vishal monthly income is A. So then if the difference between the monthly income of Naresh and Vishal, monthly income of Naresh and Vishal, so Naresh, Vishal, so Naresh monthly income 30% more than Raghu. Okay, Raghu monthly, actually Raghu, okay, so hmm, okay, so now it is given that the difference between the Monthly income of Naresh. Naresh is 1.04A. And Vishal. Vishal is A. That is given to you 800. So you can write 0.04A is equal to 800. So you can write this. You can write this as 4 by 100 of A is equal to 800. So A is equal to 200 then 00. So this means Vishal monthly income is 20,000. So it means the Vishal monthly income is 20,000. So here they are asking you the monthly income of Raghu. So Vishal monthly income is 20,000. Vishal monthly income is 20,000. So Raghu monthly income would be 80% of 20,000. That would be 16,000. So the Raghu monthly income would be 16,000. Clear everyone? Anyone have any doubt? Any doubt? Okay. Now if you see some problems like this, if you see problems like this, now if you see this problem, question number third, a man spent 80% of his income. A man spent 80% of his income. A man spent 80% of his income. A man spent 80% of income and save the rest. So suppose the income of a man is 100 rupees. So the income of the man is 100 rupees. So he spent means how much he spent 80% of the income. Means he spent 80 rupees and how much he saved. He saved only 20 rupees. A man spent 80% of his income. So if a person spent 80% of his income, I'm assuming let his income is 100 rupees. So then his saving would be 20 rupees. Then his saving would be 20 rupees. What percentage of expenditure does he save? What percentage of expenditure does he save? The question is that what percentage of expenditure does he save? Means that saving, they're asking the saving what he's doing. The saving is what percentage of expenditure. The saving is what percentage of expenditure. So the saving is 20 divided by 80 into 100. That is equal to 25%. Clear everyone? Anyone have doubt? Any doubt anyone? Any doubt? Now, if you see this question, like the number of seat for admission to vocational course increased by 10% every year. If the number of seat in 1986 is 400, what is the expected number in 1988? So you can see here the number of seat in admission to the vocational course increased by 10% every year. If the number of seat in 1986 was 400, what is the expected number in 1988? So in 1986, the number of seat was 400. Every year it increased by 10%. So if it increased by 10%, 10% of 400 is 40. So in 1987, the number will become 440. Again, it will increase by 10%. So 10% of 440 is 44. So in 1988, it will become how much? It becomes 484. I hope you understanding this. Going further, if you see the rate of inflation in a country is 1000%. The rate of inflation in a country is 1000%. So an object will cost 3 unit today. How much it cost after 2 years? So rate of inflation is 1000%. So if object cost 3 unit today, so 1000% of 3 is how much? 30. 100% of 3 is 3. 100% of 3 is 3. 200% of 3 is 6. 300% of 3 is 9. So, so 100% of 3 is 3. So 1000% of 3 would be how much? So 1000% if it increases, so increase by 30. It become how much? It become 33. So the rate of inflation in the country is 1000%. So 3 rupees thing next year become 33. Then again it increased by 1000%. So again if it increased by 1000%, so 1000% of 33 is 330, and now its population will become 363. Done everyone? Any doubt? Keep this in your mind when you're solving the problem. So if you see this question, if you see this question in a college election between the two rivals, the candidate who got 40% vote was defeated by his rival by 160 vote. Find the number of vote polled. So in a college election between the two rivals, the candidate who got 40% vote. So here, assume that two people are fighting election in India. Many people fight for the election, like in US and all. So if you talk about presidential election, then only two people fight for that. But in India, like, but in India, it's very common. Many people create parties and they'll fight for the common seat. So here, assume that only two rivals are there, as it is given the problem. So the candidate, so two rivals are there, A and B. Okay, so the candidate who get 40% vote. So suppose B got 40% vote. So if B got 40% vote, it means A got 60% vote. So if suppose A is the loser and suppose B is the winner. Understand, only two people are fighting here. So so one person got 40% vote. Automatically the other person got 60% vote. So two people are there. So the candidate who got 40% vote. So the candidate who got 40% vote, he's defeated. So if there only two people are there, so definitely the other person got 60% vote. So winner won by how many percent of vote? The can how the winner. by what margin he won the vote. Suppose the total vote is X, so 60% of X minus 40% of X the is equal to 160 votes. Okay, so you can write this as 20% of X is equal to 160. So 20% of vote means 20% means 1 by 5, that is 160. So X is equal to 800 votes. Very easy. Clear everyone? So solving problems on percentages and all you can do very easily. Now if you see this kind of question, if you see this kind of question, salary of Ram is 33.33% more than Lakshman, then how much percent in Lakshman's salary is less than that of Ram? So the salary of Ram is 33.33% more than Lakshman. So the salary of Ram is 33.33% more than Lakshman. Now when you get these kind of question, you understand like this, that if A is R% more than B, if A is R% more than B, A is, remember this, if A is R% more than B, then B is, if A is R% more than B, then B is R by 100 plus R into 100% less than A. Remember this. Remember this formula. So, okay, remember this formula. While if A is, while if A is R percentage less than B, if A is R% less than B, then B is R by 100 minus R into 100% more than A. Remember the same wise, same logic you can use for salary also. If the salary of Ram is 25% more than Lakshman, if the salary of Ram is, here this R is 25, if the salary of Ram is 25% more than Lakshman, then Lakshman's salary is 25 by 125 into 100%, that means 20% less than Ram. Remember this. While if the salary of Ram is 25% less than Lakshman, then Lakshman's salary is 25 by 75 into 100, means 33.33% more than Ram. Understand this formula. So with this formula, you get the answer very easily. Everyone understand this formula. With this formula, you get the answer very easily. Any doubt, anyone? Anyone, any doubt? Similarly, I can say the same way. I can say that if A is, if A is 1 by X more than B, if A is 1 by X more than B, then B is 1 by X plus 1 less than A. Then B is 1 by X plus 1 less than A. Okay, or if A is 1 by x less than B, if A is 1 by x less than B, then B is 1 by x minus 1 more than A. Then B is 1 by x minus 1 more than A. Remember this relationship. So when I say 25%, so the same logic you can use here also. So when I'm saying 25%, so salary of Ram is 33.33% more. Okay, 33.33 means 1 by 3. 33.33 means 1 by 3. If salary of Ram is 1 by 3 more than Lakshman, then Lakshman's salary is 1 by 4 less than Ram. Simple. So 1 by x, Ram's salary is 1 by x more. So Lakshman's salary is 1 by x plus 1 less. If Ram's salary is 1 by x less, then Lakshman's salary is 1 by x minus 1 more. Or you can say, or Ram's salary is r% more, then Lakshman's salary is r by 100 plus r into 100% less. Or if Ram's salary is r% less, then Lakshman's salary is r by 100 minus r into 100% more. Remember this relationship. So you can use this relationship anywhere. Okay, remember this relationship. The same formula what I told you, this formula will work in all such cases. This formula will work in all such cases where the product of two variable is constant. Like distance is equal to speed into time. Like distance is equal to speed into time. Or or area is equal to length into breadth, or area is equal to length into breadth, or expenditure is equal to price per unit into consumption. Price per unit into consumption. Okay, price per unit into consumption. Okay, so revenue is equal to selling price per unit into sale. So yeah, in all such relationship in maths, if the product of two variable is constant, if the product of your two variable become constant, if the product of two variable become constant, it means one variable is inversely proportional to other variable. So in maths, if the product of two variable is constant, it means that the one variable is inversely proportional to the other variable. So if both the variables are inversely proportional, you know that if one variable will increase, then the other variable will decrease. If one variable will decrease, then the other variable will increase. So whenever it happens like this, then remember 1 by x increase in A will bring 1 by x plus 1 decrease in B, or 1 by x decrease in A will bring 1 by x minus 1 increase in B. So whenever the two variables are inverse, you can use the same relationship there. You can use the same relationship there. So whenever the two variables are inversely proportional, you can use the same relationship there. So same formula what I told you, that that 1 by r. So if A increase by r%, then B will decrease by r by 100 plus r into 100%. Okay, while if A decrease by r%, then B will increase by r by 100 minus r into 100%. Remember this relationship. It will be very helpful for you. So whenever you are solving the problem and you see such kind of relationship, you can easily use this relationship for solving these kind of problem. So here, if uh, you see this question. Due to the fall in manpower, the production of the factory decreased by 25%. So manpower fall. So because there's a fall in manpower, the production of the factory decrease by 25%. So by what percent the working hours should increase to restore the original production? So here your production is equal to manpower into manpower into working hour. You can understand here. Here the formula for the production is manpower into working hour. So manpower into working hour, that is the formula of production. So here what happened, the because the manpower decreased, the factory of the production decreased by 25%. Okay, so the production decreased by 25%. So the production decreased by 25%. Okay, so if 1 by 4 the production decrease, then how much I should increase my working hour? So my I should increase my working hour by 1 by 3 or 33.33% to restore the original production. That's it. So whenever the two variables product, whenever the two variable product is constant, so that then 1 by x increase in one variable will bring 1 by x plus 1 decrease in other variable, or 1 by x decrease in one variable will bring 1 by x minus 1 increase in other variable. So remember this relationship. Remember this relationship. So here 1 by 4 it decreased. So your production decreased by 1 by 4. Then you need to increase your working hour by 1 by 3 to restore the original production. I hope you understood. Okay, or 25% decrease. So means 25 by 25, 100 minus 25, 75 into 100%. That much you have to increase, mean 33.33% to restore your original production. I told you the formula. See this question number 16. If you see question number 16, if you see question number 16, the due to reduction in price by 33.33%, the price reduced by 1 by 3. So if the price reduced by 1 by 3, your consumption will increase by 1 by 2. Your price reduced by 1 by 3, your consumption will increase by 1 by 2, because you know the formula that the expenditure is equal to price per unit into consumption. Expenditure is equal to price per unit into consumption. So here your price reduced by 1 by 3, your consumption will increase by 1 by 2. Okay, that increase in consumption means how much your consumption increase, that your consumption, suppose that was C, now your consumption increased by 1 by 2 means 50%. So your consumption is increased now by 50%. Your consumption is now increased by 50%. Your consumption is now increased by 50%. So that increase is 25 apple, because your price reduced by, because apple price, today you went to shopping and you thought that everything will remain the same, but when you went for the shopping today, you taking the same money, what you took yesterday, today you realize that the price of apple decreased by uh, 33.33%, the price of apple because the price of apple decreased by 33.33%. Your consumption will increase by 50%. So that increased consumption is 25 apple more. So what was your original consumption? 50 apple. The original consumption was 50 apple. Now what you are doing, because the price decreased, you can eat, because the price decreased, now you can eat 25 more apple. So means how many apple are eating now? How many apple you are eating now? You're eating now is 25 more apple. Earlier you were eating 50 apple. Now you can eat 25 more apple. Means now you are eating 75 apple, and the money you are spending is 75 rupees. So the price per unit, so the price of one apple, so the price of one apple is equal to 1 rupee. And with 75 rupees, you are eating 75 apple. So the price of one apple is 1 rupees. I hope you got the logic. So this logic is very important. So this logic we use in time, speed, and distance. This logic we use in percentage. This logic we use in profit or loss everywhere. Wherever the product of two variable is constant, we use this logic. Wherever the product of two variable, you see if the product of two variable is constant, we use the same logic. So you can see this question number 12. You see the question number 12. If you see the question number 12, a merchant mark is good up by 75% above the cost price. What is the maximum discount that he can offer so that he end up with no profit, no loss? So what the merchant is doing, merchant has marked up his good by 75%. So I told you 1 by x increase will bring 1 by x plus 1 decrease. 1 by x in A will bring 1 by x plus 1 decrease in B. Okay, 1 by x increase in A will bring 1 by x plus 1 decrease in B. Okay, while 1 by x decrease in A will bring 1 by x minus 1 increase in B. So the merchant markup is good by 75%. So here 75%. So 75% means 3 by 4. So he marked up his good by 75%, means 3 by 4 he marked up his good. So 75%. So 1 by x, how will I write this in 1 by x form? Means 1 by 4 by 3. So he marked up. So he marked up is good, marked up is good by 1 by 4 by 3. So then how much would be, how much he should give discount so that he end up with no profit, no loss? So the 1 by x plus 1. So he should give a discount of 1 by 4 by 3 plus 1, that is equal to 1 by 7 by 3, means how much maximum discount he can give. So 1 by 7 by 3. So 1 by 7 by 3 means 3 by 7. So this much percentage discount he can offer. Okay. I told you 1 by 7 in percentage is 14.29. So 3 by 7 in percentage will be how much? That will be 42.87%. He should give 42.87% discount so that he end up with no profit, no loss. Remember this formula. This formula is very important formula. So whenever the product of two variable is constant, then 1 by x increase in one variable will bring 1 by x plus 1 decrease in other variable, or 1 by x decrease in one variable will bring 1 by x minus 1 increase in other variable. So you can use the same logic when you solve the problem on time, speed and distance. So when we solve the problem on time, speed and distance, when we solve the problem on time, speed and distance, again we use the same logic. So in time, speed and distance also we use the same logic. So you can see this question. You can see this question. So you can see this question. So you know that the formula here, that the distance is equal to speed into time. You know the formula, we use distance is equal to speed into time. Okay, so here is question is like this, that walking at 3 by 4th of the usual speed, a man is 16 minutes late to his office. Find the usual time taken by him to cover the distance. Walking at 3 by 4th of the usual speed. Okay, so whatever is the usual speed, a person is moving at 3 by 4th of that speed. So 3 by 4th of your speed means you're moving at 75% of your original speed. So maybe you're not keeping well, that's why you're moving slow. You're moving at 3 by 4th of your original speed. Okay, so whatever was your original speed, you're moving 3 by 4th of that. 3 by 4th means 75%. So you're moving slow. Because you're moving slow, you reached your office 16 minutes late. Because you're moving slow, so you reached your office 16 minutes late. So walking at 3 by 4th of the usual speed, a man reached 16 minutes late to his office. Okay. So why you reach late? Because you're moving slow. You know the formula, distance is equal to speed into time. You know the formula, that distance is equal to speed into time. And here, if your speed will decrease, your time will increase. Okay, so you're moving at 75% of your speed. Okay, so if you're moving at 75% of your speed, means you're moving at 75% of speed, means your speed is 25% less. It means your speed is 25% less. So if your speed is 25% less, then your time will increase by how much? Your time will increase by how much? Your time will increase by, formula I told you, r percent less. So r by 100 minus r into 100%. So if your speed is 25% less, your time will increase by 33.33% more. Okay, I hope you understand. So I told you the formula. So if 1 by x less, if the speed is 1 by x less, then the time will increase by 1 by x minus 1. If your speed is 1 by 1, you are moving at 3 by 4. So your speed is 1 by 4 less. If your speed is 1 by 4 less, your time is 1 by 3 more. So that 1 by 3 more, that time is given to you 16 minutes late, that you are 16 minutes late. So what was your usual time? 48 minutes. So what is the usual time to reach office? That is 48 minutes. So you can use this formula and you can get the answer very fast. Any doubt? Any doubt? So you know the formula that the distance is equal to speed into time. So you can use the same formula, distance equal to speed into time. So whenever you use the formula that distance is equal to speed into time, so you need to make sure that your distance is represented in kilometer or your distance is represented in meter. The speed can be represented in meter per second or kilometer per hour, while your time can be represented in hour or second. So 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meter, 1 hour is equal to 60 minute, 1 minute is equal to 60 second. So you remember that relationship. So you could have solved this problem by the usual formula. Let the speed is x and your time is y. So if you're going at 3 by 4 of x, you're taking 16 minutes more. So x and can cancel. So I can write 4y is equal to 3 into y plus 16. So I can write as 4y is equal to 3y plus 48. So y is equal to 48. Remember this relationship. So, so going further, so going further, I told you in maths if C is equal to A into B. So if C is constant and if C is constant, if C is constant, then A is inversely proportional to B. If A is inversely proportional to B, then 1 by x increase in A will bring 1 by x plus 1 decrease in B, or 1 by x decrease in A will bring 1 by x minus 1 increase in B. You know this relation. Now imagine if C is not constant. Imagine if C is not constant. If C is not constant, suppose A changed by A percent and B changed by B percent. So if A changed by A percent and B changed by B percent, so net percentage change is A percent plus B percent plus AB by 100%. This is the formula for the net percentage change on C. This is the formula of net percentage change of C. So if A changed by A% and B changed by B%, the net percentage change on C is A% plus B% plus AB by 100%. So remember this formula. This is the formula for successive percentage change. So imagine in maths C is equal to A into B, and if A changed by A%, B changed by B%, so then the net percentage change on C is A% plus B% plus AB by 100%. So remember this relationship. So like this, the population of the city increased by 25% in first year, and then in next year decreased by 20%. What is the change after 2 years? So the first year it increased by 25%, then it decreased by 20%. So ax plus y plus, so net percentage change, if you want to know, first year it increased by 25%, then it decreased by 20%. So if you want the change, so x percent plus y percent plus, so 25 into 20 minus 20 divided by 100%. This is the formula for net percentage change. This is 5%. So plus into minus, you can write minus. This is 500 by 5 by 100. This means 5% minus 5%. This is equal to 0. No percentage change. So suppose it was 100. So it increased by 25%. So it become 125. Then it decreased by 20%. 20% decrease. 20% decrease means it will become again 100. No percentage change. Remember this relation. Now you see this question number 17. You see the question number 17. In percentage, you can use this formula anywhere. The number of seat in cinema hall increased by 25% and the price decreased by 10%. The seat increased by 25%, but the price decreased by 10%. So 25% increase in price, 10% decrease in price of the ticket. Okay, 25% is increase in number of seat. You increase the number of seat by 25%, and you decrease the price by 10%. What is the effect on the revenue? So 25% increase minus 10%, then plus A% plus B%. So if it increase, put plus sign. If it decrease, put minus sign. So plus 25 minus 10 divided by 100%. This become 15%. This is minus plus into minus. This is 2 is minus 2.5. The increase is 12.5%. It will become very easy for you. Any doubt, anyone? You can solve it by this also. Take 100, increase it by 25%, 125, and then decrease by 10%. Then decrease it by 25%. So it becomes 112.25. So the net increase is 12.5%. Same logic you use here also. Radius of the circle. You know the area of the circle formula pi r square. You know the area of circle formula pi r square. So radius increased by 20%. It increased by 20% two times. R square. You remember the the radius increased by 20% two times. This question came this year in UPSC CSAT exam. CSET exam, which happened in 4th October. So pi r square, pi is constant, radius changed by 2 time, r percent again by r percent. So 20% plus 20% plus 20 into 20 by 100%. So you get 44%. Very simple. Any doubt? Any doubt? Now the next chapter is profit and loss. If I talk about profit and loss chapter, in profit and loss profit will define profit when selling price is more than cost price. So you get a profit when your selling price is more than cost price. You get a loss. You get a loss when cost price is more than selling price. You get a loss when cost price is more than selling price. Okay. If I talk about profit percentage we calculate by the formula called profit divide by cost price into 100. Okay, so this is the formula for profit percentage. Loss percentage we determine by the formula called loss divide by cost price into 100. Okay, so whenever we see loss percentage, it is always calculated on cost price. Always remember, always remember, always remember that profit percentage and loss percentage is always calculated. Profit percentage or loss percentage is always calculated on cost price. So we never touch selling price for any kind of calculation. Whenever you see profit percentage, whenever you see loss percentage, you need to always calculate that on cost price. Please remember this. Okay, so suppose if I ask you this question, that I sold a pen, I sold a pen for 10 rupees. I sold a pen for 10 rupees and got 10% profit. And got 10% profit. What is the cost price of pen? Tell me the answer. What is the cost price of pen? Tell me the answer for this question, guys. What is the cost price of the pen? Alvita, if the cost price become 11 rupees, then you get a loss Alvita. Here the selling price is 10 rupees. And if your cost price is suppose 11 rupees, then your cost price is more than selling price, then you are getting a loss. Here I told you are getting a profit. So guys, you have to understand that if you are getting a profit means your selling price is more than cost price. If you are getting a loss means your cost price is more than selling price. Okay, so I sold a pen for 10 rupees and got 10% profit. So what is the cost price of the pen? So I told you that whenever you see profit percentage, whenever you see loss percentage, it is always calculated on cost price. So here you got 10% profit. Here you got 10% profit. This 10% profit you got on what? This 10% profit you got on cost price. Please do not calculate please do not calculate the 10% of 10. Okay, because 10 rupees, if you calculate 10% on 10, means here the 10%, what you see, that 10%, if you calculate on 10, means you are calculating on selling price. You do not have to do any calculation on selling price. Whenever you do calculation, whenever you are talking about calculation, you need to do always on cost price. Okay, so that is important for you. Okay, so here I sold a pen for 10 rupees, got 10% profit. So this 10% profit I got on cost price. So let the cost price of pen is A rupees. Okay, so my profit percentage here is 10%. So my profit here is how much my profit here is 10% on A. So my profit here is 0.1A. So my profit here is 0.1A. So your selling price of pen will be how much? Your selling price of pen would be A plus 0.1A, that is equal to 1.1A. Okay, and that selling price of pen is given to you. Selling price of pen is given to you 10 rupees. So you can write 1.1A is equal to 10 rupees. So I can write A is equal to, so 11 by 10 is equal to 10 rupees. So A is equal to 100 by 11 rupees. So the value of A is 100 by 11. So 100 by 11 means 9.09. So the value of A is 9.09. Remember that. Many people will tell the answer 11. Some people will tell the answer 9, but the answer is 9.09. Because if 9.09 is the cost price is 9.09, then your profit is 10% of this. 10% of this means 0.909. So 0.909, so your selling price is 9.999, that means 10 rupees. Please understand that whenever you see this value, that I sold the pen for 10 rupees, got 10% profit. So this 10% profit you did not get on selling price. Don't calculate on selling price. You have to calculate everything on cost price. Please do not touch selling price for it. Okay, so please do not touch selling price for it. You have to do all your calculation one and only on cost price. So remember that part. Now you know the term called cost price. You know the term cost price. You know the term selling price. You know the term profit. You know the term loss. Profit you get a profit when the selling price is more than cost price. You get a loss when the cost price is more than selling price. Okay. Then there's another term which you should know, that is called marked price. There's another term which you should know, that is called marked price. Marked price is the price which is printed on a product. Whenever you go to buy any product, whenever you go to any shop to buy any product, you'll see a price which is printed on the product. So the price which is printed on the product is called as marked price. The price which is printed on the product is called mark price. Then you should know the term called discount. You know the term is called discount. Now Dashara time is coming. After that Diwali will come. So whenever the season time comes, whenever we go for shopping, we want discount. So we try to negotiate with the person as much as we can so that we can get discount. So basically what you do on the printed price, you request for the discount, you fight for the discount, you deserve for the discount. So ultimately the selling price what you get, if there's no discount, then selling price is equal to mark price. If there's no discount, then whatever the price is printed on the product, that is the selling price. If there's a discount, then selling price is equal to mark price minus discount. Then selling price is equal to mark price minus discount. Similarly, we know that selling price, whenever we talk about selling price is basically cost price plus profit. Similarly, we know that selling price is equal to cost price plus profit. Remember this relationship. Okay, so whenever you see discount, you understood the discount, then you should know the term like discount percentage. You should know the term called discount percentage. Discount percentage, it is always calculated. Discount percentage, it is always calculated. Discount percentage, it is always calculated on mark price. Discount percentage, it is always calculated on marked price. Discount, whenever we speak about discount, whenever we speak about discount percentage, it is always calculated on mark price. Remember this. Whenever you see discount percentage, it is always calculated on the mark price. Okay, so if the mark price, if the price which is printed on the product, if the price which is printed on the product is 150 rupees, okay, and you get a discount of 15%. So what is your selling price? What is your selling price? So you get a discount of 15%. So 150 rupees is the price. On that you get a discount of 15%. So what is the selling price? So 15% of this is 15 is 10%, 5 is 7.5%. So this is 22.5. So the your selling price is 150 minus 22.5. You get zero point 0.5. 9 minus 2, 7. 9 minus 2, 7. Then 4 minus 2, this. Then 4 minus 2, 2. 127.5 rupees. So whenever you see the discount percentage mentioned, the discount percentage, it is always calculated. Discount percentage, whenever you see, it is always calculated on the mark price. Okay, everyone, I hope you are understanding this concept. Then the next concept, the cost price and mark price. So whenever you see mark price, so marked price is the price which is printed on the product. So this mark price is basically we calculate on cost price, where mark price is cost price plus marked up percentage, marked up percentage into cost price. So no one knows at what price you buy the product. No one knows at what price you buy the product. Everyone knows the price which is printed on the product. Everyone knows the price which is printed on the product. So no one knows exactly at what price did you buy the product. Okay, so whatever price did you buy the product, what you do on the top of that price, you print a new price, because you know that in the competitive world, you know that you have to give discount, because without giving discount nobody will buy the product from you. So you know that you have to give discount. At the same time, you know that you need to make a profit, because you are doing a business, you are doing so much hard work. So ultimately you expect to get some amount of profit. Okay, so remember the relationship between the marked up percentage. Remember the relationship between marked up percentage, discount percentage, discount percentage, and profit percentage. Discount percentage and profit percentage. Remember the relation. Relation is profit percentage is equal to marked up percentage minus discount percentage minus discount percentage minus marked up percentage into discount percentage divide by 100. Remember this relationship. This formula I derive actually from that formula only. A percent plus B percent plus AB by 100%. That formula of successive percentage what I told you. From that only I derive this formula. It's nothing new. It's not at all anything new. Okay. So understand this. Now if you see this question, if you see this question, a music synthesizer costing 6,000 rupees. So the cost price of the music synthesizer is 6,000 rupees. Okay. So is marked to be sold at the price so that the seller make a profit of 20%. So the seller want to make a profit of 20%. So how much is the profit of this? Profit on this 20% means 20% means 1200, 10% is 600. So the selling price of this is 6,000 plus 1200. So the selling price of this is 7200. Selling price of this would be 7200. Okay, so the because you know the formula that the selling price is equal to cost price plus profit. Okay, then such that the seller makes a profit after giving discount of 20%. So marked price, the marked price is how much? Suppose that is X rupees, and on that you are giving a discount of 20%. So if you give a discount of 20%, you give a discount of 20% means how much is your discount? How much is your discount? That is 0.2x. Okay, if you're giving a discount of 20%, then what is your selling price? Then what is your selling price? On X, you are giving 20% discount. Your selling price is 0.8x. That 0.8x is 7200. That 0.8x is equal to 7200. So the value of X, if you solve, you'll get 9,000. The selling price here is mark price here is 9,000 because I assume the mark price as 9 as X. You can solve it very easily. You can solve it very easily, or you can use my formula. I told you the formula that profit percentage is equal to marked up percentage minus discount percentage minus marked up into discount by 100%. So profit percentage, you want to make 20% profit, marked up you don't know, discount you're giving 20% minus this markup you don't know, discount you're giving 20%. I can write 20 plus 20, 40%, then x percent minus 20x by 100%. 40% is equal to 80x by 100%. The value x percentage is equal to 50. So the here the x percentage what you get is 50 percentage. So you understand this. Anyway, you can either solve this by step like this way, or you can use the formula. So the formula what I told you, the relation between profit percentage, marked up percentage, and discount percentage. So if you use this formula, you got the markup percentage 50%. So once you get the marked up percentage as 50%, so you know that I told you the formula. Once you get the markup percentage of 50%, you know the formula. I told you the formula that the marked up price is equal to cost price plus marked up percentage into cost price. I told you this formula. Okay, so mark price you want to know. So cost price is 6,000. The markup percentage is 50%. Cost price is 6,000. This is 6,000 plus 50% of 6,000 is 3,000. So your markup price is 9,000. So this is the thing you need to know. So anyhow you do, you'll get the same answer. I hope you understood the logic. I hope you understood the logic. Anyone have any doubt? Any question you want to ask? Any question you want to ask? So this is the end for the today class. So we'll continue our discussion on tomorrow. Okay, so if you have any doubt, feel free to ask your doubt. Elvita, any question you want to ask? So any doubt? Okay, okay, Elvita. Thank you, Elvita. Okay, guys, so it's time to end the class. Thank you, everyone. See you all tomorrow for the class. Bye.